enzymatic browning process. Probably you're thinking, what's this? What's important for me? Well, today we're going to answer all these questions just for being a good global citizen. Not at all, but today we're going to see this. As you know,
Apples, as many other vegetables and fruits, suffer or undergo a enzymatic browning process, which is the important of the time of the periods of time that the fruits and vegetables stay on the supermarket or your fridge. So, today we're going to explain you this with a very simple experiment which involves a very beautiful apple. So, let's start with this video.
enzymatic browning process is the one which makes that all fruits and vegetables turns brown day by day. Obviously, there are other ways in which this process happens. For example, when we are cutting an apple or banana, through the hours, it turns brown. Well, the importance of this video is analyzing about what the food industry is doing nowadays. This process has become very important since it's essential to have more profits than losses. To demonstrate this, we're going to use a beautiful and organic apple from my garden, just to see that it's impossible that all the fruits and vegetables stay for days in the supermarket. And the starting question, what science is responsible for this kind of studies? Biochemistry. The degradation to which these products are subjective is an oxidative type. This process begins the moment when chemicals in food come in contact with oxygen in the air, the humidity present in the air or in the product itself, and the presence of some transmission metal or enzymes that function as catalysts. All of these constitute an environment in which it's difficult to conserve products that contain oxidable molecules. However, the enzyme responsible for this browning process is polyphenol oxidase, or PPO. At the moment when PPO enzyme transforms substances known as phenolic compounds into different compounds called quinones. This substance reacts and it's transformed into melanin. This process never occurs with fresh or shelled fruits and vegetables. To avoid oxidation, it is necessary to add antioxidants. But let's see what oxidation and antioxidants are. An antioxidant is a substance that prevents the oxidation of another, understanding oxidation not only as the attack of oxygen on a substance, but rather as a chemical reaction by which electrons are transferred from one electron donating to another capable to accept them into this process. Therefore, oxidation is a loss of electrons and must be combined with a reduction or acceptable of transferred electrons. Oxidation reactions are crucially important in biological systems, since most of the process that supplies energy to living organisms are oxidation reactions. The main oxidizing agent is oxygen, although there are many others such as peroxides, halogens, or chlorines derivatives. In living organisms, oxidation reactions produce free radicals, a molecule with unpaired and highly reactive electrons that can harm and damage cells. Antioxidants, therefore, prevent or end these oxidation reactions and eliminate free radicals. In many cases, antioxidants oxidate themselves, so they are reducing. This experiment is a correlational one, because we are searching the influence that antioxidants such as ascorbic acid can modify the time in which fruits and vegetables suffer the enzymatic browning process. The experimental proposal allows us to take enough evidence to see how this process has been manipulated for the food industry. It is worth mentioning that this process is quantitative. That means that all our data is nominal. The duration of this experimentation is 1 day. The observation is through all this day. That means that the duration is catalogued as longitudinal and the chronology is prospective. Hypothesis. If I put 10 grams of apple in slices into a spoon of lemon juice and other 10 grams without anything, the apple into lemon juice could take twice as long to turn brown than in normal conditions, due to the acid in the lemon juice because it slows down the enzymatic browning process. Our variable. Results: independent lemon juice. Dependent amount of time it takes until turns brown. Controlled quantity of lemon juice and apple slices. Moderator: how much time the lemon juice slows down the enzymatic browning process. Extraneous: the apples cut with plastic knife.
Okay, the process will start like this. We're going to cut the apple with our plastic knife into slices as thin as possible, trying to weigh 10 grams each of the samples that we're going to put into our plastic dishes. Later, we'll choose one of our samples to which we will put 3 tablespoons of the 15 milliliters of our lemon juice. Finally, we'll take a photo that would be our evidence.
Analyze the data. Well, using the RGB scale, in this case I installed an app called Watercolor, and with this and all the photos that I have taken, I analyzed the colors that result for this experiment. The color that initially predominated in both samples was green, because by the nature of our apples. Subsequently, we observed in our sample without lemon that over the time the apple turned brown due to the enzymatic reaction that generates a layer of melanin, making a combination with a majority of red. Well, as you can see, the predominant color is red, and all the dots are closest to zero due to the experiment. But this is because the more closest to zero, the more black is our combination. However, this is not the only change that we notice in the apple. During the hydration suffered the fruit by this process, the apple became smaller than the initial size. The sample presented in the photographs went from weighing 10 grams to weighing 7.8 grams, which presents a significant sample of material. Well, here in the other sample we can see that all the colors keep in green. That means that the apple suffered a minimum oxidation. Well, here in our other graph we can see that the dominant color is red and also green. And this is because the degradation was less than in our other sample. And the colors are mostly closest to 255 than 0. That means that there are more green color in our sample. Well, the conclusions of these experiments are that all the fruits suffer a process that alters genetically their code.
The genetic code of the apples is altered to stay more days on the supermarket or on the fridge or maybe on your kitchen. Like these, many other things that the food industry has done. It is important to emphasize that we must learn to select the foods that we are going to eat, because many times they have an excellent appearance, but they do not necessarily cover the requirements to nourish a person. This was a simple but very significant experiment to understand this basic process of the fruits.